Hey, this is Adam Green from ionramp.com, and this tutorial is how to find Google Display Network sites by using some alternative tools that are out there. And I'm going to show you a few ways to do this, and then hopefully the last way will be the one that makes most sense and you'll find most valuable and useful. So let me start kind of at the beginning, just with respect to Google Content Network and Display Network. If you're managing campaigns using the Display Network, what you've probably used before is this ad planning tool, and I've done a previous tutorial on using the ad planning tool to find websites for your content campaigns. However, likely what you've run into is the same issue that all of us have run into, which is to say that when you type in sites in here that you know are using AdSense or display network stuff, often you won't find those websites. So here's an example of that. This is a website that, as we can see here, is using Google AdSense. But when we put it into Google Ad Planner, the results we get are, well, lackluster. It doesn't really tell us whether or not they're using Google Ads or not, or Google AdSense or not. So that can be a little bit frustrating because there's hundreds of thousands of smaller niche websites out there that are topical to what it is you're advertising on that you could be putting ads to and getting quality traffic from. So how can we get around that, and what are some tools we can use? Well, if you've ever used Twitter before, you'll know that there are hundreds of different Twitter tools that are out there, and this is one that I found recently called Tweet Search. The basics behind this tool is you can use a keyword to query Twitter and see what people have used, if people have used that keyword in their Twitter profiles. So I'm going to use an example for barbecues. So I'm going to put in the word barbecue and have Tweet Search run a query for me. So what we're seeing on our screen now is basically a list of Twitter users who have the words barbecue somewhere in their description. So what does that look like? Well, here's my Twitter account. It's my personal Twitter account, and in this area here is where I've listed different things that I'm interested in, or basically a short bio, and there's keywords in here. So if we go back to Tweet Search and we look for peg leg porker, let's see if I'm right. Let me just go to home and search for peg leg porker. Alright, so here's peg leg porker. I did that probably the wrong way. But peg leg porker, I love that Twitter name, by the way. As you can see, has the words barbecue products, barbecue blogger, barbecue competitor in his Twitter profile or his Twitter bio. So if you're probably following along with me, you know where I'm going with this. Well, one of the great features that Tweet Search has is a way to export all of this data. So you can export this to an Excel sheet, and ta-da, here's the exported Excel sheet. Now, I was playing around with this a little bit earlier, and I've done some bolding and whatever else, but for the purposes of this example, you can see all of these Twitter users and all of their URLs that they're using in their profile. Now, not everybody has a URL in their profile, and I've sorted it just to show me the ones that do, so there's a bunch of things here that aren't useful for us. But what we can do with this now is use a couple of different tools. Now, one, even though I kind of slammed on it before, is Google Ad Planner. So how do you use a big long list of URLs in Google Ad Planner? Well, you could try going one by one and typing them in, search by site, and probably getting this kind of data. Another way you can go about it is to create a list. To create a list, you actually just want to go into your account and type in an example list, and you'll get this screen here. So what you can do is actually enter in a list of placements into this list screen. So let me grab a few of them here. Just do a group of 10 or 15, not to overwhelm the system too much, and you can sort in there. So there's a way that you can at least start to get some data, but as I've shown you before, there are sites that are using AdSense that don't show any data within Google Ad Planner. Some that will, and you can see them here for image sizes and different things like that, and you can go to this particular site and get the information from it. However, as I'm trying to prove to you, it's a little bit limited. So in Steps, something called Keyword Elite. Keyword Elite is a tool that I've used many times before for clients. It has a number of different features in it, but the one that I'm most interested in right now is the Advanced Google Site Targeting tool. So when we click on this, basically this tool works that you type in keywords that you're interested in, and it queries Google, displays the list of sites that are ranking well for that term, and then goes to those sites and searches through to see if there's AdSense code on it. So if we were to do this example for the keyword barbecue, we'd hit search, and the tool will start to generate some lists. So you can see here, Wikipedia, barbecue.com, these are sites that are ranking extremely well and really at the top for barbecue. What you'll start to see here as it queries through the system is whether or not there are AdSense ads on the page, and that will give you basically a list to use for your AdWords campaign. I use this tool slightly differently, and I use this tool in conjunction with what we did over here on Tweet Search. So basically I go through, and I've just picked a few here that I've separated into display network. And I've grabbed these URLs, and what you're going to see here is by putting them in as keywords, and it'll strip out the HTTP and that kind of stuff, but you put these sites in as keywords. Now what you want to do is keep the number of advertisers you want to find to 10, that's fine. The advanced options, keep it fairly simple and only go a page deep in the depth crawl, and maybe even keep the inner pages fairly simple to 5. The reason I'm doing this, you'll see in a second, it can be kind of taxing and take a long time. So if we hit search on some sites that we've pulled from our Tweet Search list, we're going to see sites that are ranking basically for that particular keyword. And remember, the keyword we were using was the URL. So here's our keywords and the different sites that we've thrown into it. Now we're seeing what keyword or what sites are ranking well for that particular keyword. On top of that, we're now seeing data over here for whether or not there are AdSense ads that are being found on these websites. So the ones that we have at the top, it's their own website. There you have it. You've got AdSense ads on the site. Now if you go back and remember back to our Google Ad Planner tool, it didn't list this as a website that had ads on it. So this is by far beating that tool and showing me some more in-depth information. Here's another one, Barbecue Grill Surplus. They've got ads. But moreover, all these other websites that are ranking for that URL, I'm also getting sites or lists here for sites that have AdSense on them as well. So here's more information that I can pull from and use in my display network campaigns. Same kind of thing for the different ones we've entered in down here. So anyways, what you can do is basically grab from your Tweet Search list and start putting them into Keyword Elite and coming up and building lists for websites that have AdSense on it that are targeted to your keyword. And that's basically what we're all trying to find is websites that are topical to advertise on. So there you have it. I hope you found this useful. And if you have any questions, you can find me at adam@bionramp.com. Cheers.